18 years. You wanted to go to college, but the society you were living in wanted you to settle for less. Because you couldn't change the lack of opportunity where you lived, you changed your location.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Nairobi in search of a better life. What did you find when you got there?
I was raped when I arrived in the city. So I was born in the village. So going to the city was new for me. I dreamt of being to the city, and I was looking forward to going to the city. But when I got the city, I think my imagination of what city is like was different, because it was like all the lights. Oh my God, it was such a beautiful and congested place. It was 2007 during post-election violence in Kenya. So there were so many things going on, but I think I was very naive to even figure out what was going on. And it was all about tribal war politically. So I was always looking for people who speak my language, because it's easy to connect, and we are fighting against each other as tribes. So once you find somebody who speaks your language, it's the best. Yeah. So when I arrived in the city, my auntie was supposed to pick me up, but she did not. So when I got to the city, it was at night and I didn't know where to go. And I, just like kids are taught, once you get to the city, ask direction from a security person.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for the security person, and luckily he spoke my language. So I was like, oh yeah, that's easy and that's the best. And he said, for sure, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you. There's nothing that's going to be happening to you. And in the village, I didn't imagine what violence looked like. So I stayed and I followed, and he raped me. He took me to his house, and he kept me there with his friends, and they raped me. And after that, I didn't have anywhere to turn to. So I had to go back to the village that I was used to. And when I went back to the village, months later, I realized that I was pregnant. And then my community, my family, my village people accused me for promiscuity. And as a tribe, you're supposed to show the father of the child, because I was supposed to get married, not to go to the city, but I went against the expectation. So I had to leave again to the city. I was kicked out, and I had to survive by myself at 17 years old.
So having gone to the city, been raped, gone back to your village, kicked out of your village, had to go back to the city, now carrying a child as a result of being raped, and on your own.
Yes. And I survived in the street. So I had nowhere to go. I had nothing to sell. I had no business. I had no even experience of how it is to live in the street. So what else do? You sell what you have. Every girl sell what they have, and that's like having sex in exchange of money. And that's how I survived, with only one goal, that I wanted to abort my child. That was the big goal. That, for me, it was the pregnancy. It was not the rape. I had a problem with me being pregnant, but I didn't have a problem of me being raped, because I felt the pregnancy was confirmation that I had sex. And people talked about pregnancy, ignoring how it came about. So I knew once I get rid of this baby, my life will go back normal. I'll be okay.
Wow. So there you were. So in addition to the trauma that you endured with being raped, to add insult to the injury, to add insult to the injury, you had the stigma to deal with. So abortion was a consideration. So what was it? Please share. What was it that made you make the choice that you made?
Of keeping my baby, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my son is 14 years old, and he's the best thing that has happened to me. And I didn't For sure, I don't want to say that I made a choice to keep the baby. The circumstances made a choice for me.
Yeah.
Because abortion is illegal in Kenya. And it needed money. The few centers or the few health clinics that they were doing it illegally. And they needed lump sum of money to help you out. And the more days were moving, the more the increase of payment was going, because the more the baby is growing inside you. So I couldn't raise the money when the pregnancy was small, was to do an abortion. So I had to wait. I kept waiting. I kept looking for money. I kept doing any kind of job to help me get money to do an abortion. Until the time I got the money, and it was like 8 months pregnant. And here I am in the hospital, in that clinic, not even hospital, clinic. And I'm sitting there, and there's so many other women, girls, young girls being brought their mothers, and and I'm sitting there. I could hear people scream. This is not like a hospital that has everything, that or somebody, it's illegal, so it's faster and you don't need to scream. It's a very risky thing that was going on there. But I could hear people scream. I could hear the pain that people are going through inside that. I mean, I'm like a homeless. I haven't eaten for days. I don't even have strength. And I could hear the doctor say, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I just sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna go through the pain. I usually say that it's a voice, a supernatural voice that I had that said my baby is gonna be a blessing, because for sure he is. But at that moment, even if it was a voice, I couldn't figure out what kind of assurance was that. But I chose to keep the baby because I was afraid of dying. And I was like, oh, okay. So if maybe I give birth to this baby, I'm gonna throw it away. I'll not keep him. So that was my next decision, because I didn't pay to have a baby. So I was like, okay, immediately I have the baby, I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna leave the baby. And that's how I left the clinic and I went spend the money on food, which I thank God of now, but that was not the plan. But I was so hungry that day, and I didn't have any balance. Once I do an abortion, I was to walk home. I could see the frustrations of these girls coming in, and I was like, I'm not doing this. So I left.
Wow. And thank goodness that you did. It's what an incredible story that is. What a powerful story. What an unbelievable story that is. Some people dream of fancy homes. Some people dream of having fancy cars. Your dream, after everything that you went through, your dream was one that fancied providing support for others. I love this quote from you. I began dreaming of supporting survivors of sexual violence and helping them see beauty in their brokenness. So after all that had happened to you, you dreamed of being of service. Tell us how you made that dream a reality. How did you do this work?
I was lucky. Out of help from a stranger, I was able to get my degree in counseling psychology. So when I gave birth to my baby, I gave birth, and this child, I gave it to my sister, because I didn't have, again, the courage, the plan of throwing the baby away didn't work. So my sister wanted to take care of the baby. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you. So my sister was taking care of my baby very well. And I started hustling. I started again doing all the work. And we were living in a slum, like where there are no toilets, where there is no bathroom, where there was nothing. If you need to use a bathroom, you'll do it in a polythene bag and it's called throwing. You just throw it wherever it land. It would land. We would wake up and somebody's just is in your house, that shitty situation that I lived in. But somehow I managed to save $15 and enrolled myself in college. And education for me gave me confidence. In college, I was the dirtiest girl. You know, college, they're all cute. They have a style, but I did not have it. My classmates used to make fun of me. Like, if you're not wearing the yellow t-shirt today, you're going to be wearing it. I had like 2. And my struggle to go into college, attracted the whole school, attracted the whole department. And I only paid $15. My mom, who was a tea farmer, was the one who was saving money and sending it to me to pay school fees. And she would send like $15, like $6 to just, because the culture, my dad was that dad that is very violent. So my mom was doing this while she's hiding. So in college, I'm so proud that I was able to do my diploma at that time, because the school paid for my school fees to do diploma, and I got a distinction. I defined all odds, and I got the first one in class in something that I didn't even think about it. And I did counseling psychology because somebody talked to me, and I was like, wait, what did you do in school? She was like, I did counseling psychology. That's all I want to do. Because for the first time, somebody showed me that they care. Somebody showed me love. And I was like, oh, wow, that feels so good. So when I went to college, I did counseling psychology with one aim, that I will go back to the slum that I lived. Because I had witnessed hundreds of girls going through the same. And it was normal. We had normalized it. Somebody would just be raped, and I participated in blaming people. You are here, that's why you lived, you know. But it didn't dawn on me what's human right, what's women's right. It did not. But in college, my college education taught me a lot. Taught me that it was not my fault. Taught me that I can dream. Taught me that I am just like any other human being. And taught me to love my child. So I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna go back and get my friends. Even if they're not gonna get to school, I'm gonna tell them that they can dream. And I'm gonna tell them that they are just like any other person. So with one mission that I have still right now, very passionate, is to continue empowering girls from my community to know that they can go to school and they can dream. And it doesn't matter what the past has painted on us. We can still shake the dust and walk. So that's my huge dream. I never dream of cars. I never dream of houses. It's a good thing I would want to have, but I want to see people. I want to see many of us enjoying the life that I have right now.
Mm-hmm. It's so incredibly beautiful. Sharing your story has helped many women open up and share about their own experiences of sexual violence, of trauma. Has speaking about your life helped you personally heal as well?
Yes, a lot. I first spoke in public 2015. When I can say, when I really owned up my story, and I was like, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And when I did, it was very surprising how many people told me that they were survivors. Some told me to stop saying it because it's not a new thing. That's not a topic to talk about, women and girls, because we grew up normalizing it. But at the same time, I could understand where they're coming from. But at the midst of the people that I spoke to, when I was crying, when I was shaking, when I couldn't even have words to say, many people wrote to me and said, your story encouraged me. And that was the best thing that I've ever had. And I was like, oh, so I didn't just waste my time. And there was a coach who told me that once you go public, don't be so quick to read the comment of what people are saying. Just let it go until you're able to get there. And I did not read the comment. I could delete the message immediately. It came and it doesn't, I was I was ashamed of me. I was ashamed that my friends who didn't know now know all these things. I was ashamed that people are gonna blame me. But some people doubted me, just like any other society. And so many people blamed me. But the continuous sharing of my story have made me become comfortable with myself. I'm okay. And right now, I don't care whether you believe me or you don't. I am not looking for your opinion in my story. It's mine and I own it. And realizing and getting to that position has helped me a lot. Even to like my family, I never shared with my family for years. My mom couldn't understand what happened, but now they know. They fight sexual violence in my village because they keep saying, you know what? Once somebody rape, Nuna is going to come and arrest you. They're gonna, I have created that in my village, which is I like, and everybody know that I'm a survivor, and it has helped me heal a lot. And I know I have healed many souls, silent and the one that I'm speaking.
Wow, that's so incredibly inspiring. I don't think inspiring is the word. I feel like it's more than inspiring, but I don't know a better word to use. So, for those who live with unhealed trauma, with unyielding shame that they just can't shake, what words of hope would you offer if they were standing right before you? What would you when you would look them in the eye, what would you say to them?
I'll tell them that they are not alone. And no amount of time can bring healing. Healing is a journey and it's a process. And sometimes it's a lifetime. We cannot wake up one day and say it did not happen or we are very much okay with it. We have permanent scars, and I get it and I understand. But one thing that I would want everybody to know, that we suffer the same. We have triggers, but how we process the trauma, how we process the trigger is what's different.
Yeah.
But they are not alone and they are not weird. We are all going through the same. But if only they can believe in themselves and just look at themselves and say, what good is it about them? I know it's difficult to feel good about yourself sometimes, but there is always something good about you. Mm-hmm. If only you can tell yourself every day one good thing about yourself, even if it's not about emotions or feeling or anything, it's going to continue changing mind. The brain is a powerful tool and it only receives whatever you feed it. Mm-hmm. If you feed it your failure, you're going to be a failure. But if you say you are a survivor, even if you don't know how to survive, you're going to be a survivor.
The power of words, right? The power of a story. And out of the things that broke you, what beauty you have found and you have shared in your life, and how you have touched the lives of so many and continue to do. I just can't thank you enough for helping all of us become a bit more aware now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I really love offering any service to a survivor for free. I do that for free. And anybody can reach out to me, no matter which part of the world it is, no matter what language you speak. We can always use Google Translator, but encourage each other and heal in this journey.
That is wonderful. And so what is the best way for people to say, I've got to speak with her right now? What's the best way for people to contact you?
I think if only people, the easiest way is to Google Wounded Healers International. Is the organization that I started. There you're going to get the information. And if you hit the email, it's going to come to me.
Okay.
And there are places that say support group, whichever email that you hit, it's going to come to me. And from there, we can take it up from there. And on Facebook, I'm Eunice Nuna, LinkedIn, Eunice Nuna, everywhere Eunice Nuna.
Okay. All right. So just look for Eunice Nuna and we will find you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. So appreciate you. Thank you for your story.
Thank you so much for giving me this platform.
Thank you for having your story to share. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.